Hey y'all, happy Monday in the office today. Got some cherries that I got from the market this weekend. The farmer's market. Oh, they're good. I'll make this quick. So I was at Sprouts at the self checkout, checking out. And there was this guy. I don't know if he is an employee there or whatever, but he was already there checking out. And then, I got there checking out. The employee, which was a young lady, they knew each other. So I don't know if he's an employee there or he's a regular there. I don't know. But, hey, mama. But, she was telling him, I've been calling you and, I haven't heard back from you and You said you wanted to, get us to get to know one another, but every time I call you, I don't hear anything from you. You don't, whatever, reach back out to me or whatever. He said something I couldn't really hear. It was audible, but he said something like, well, that I don't know what he was saying, but he wasn't. He was just talking, right? But then she was like, "But I called you, but I do call you, blah 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 blah." And then, baby, I just finished my transaction and I went on to my car or whatever. So they were still in there talking, and I actually sat out there and ate because I had got me something out of Sprouts, and I sat out there and I ate it for a little second. So he was in there for a little minute. They were talking or whatever, but I was so cringe. I was just like, girl, let that man be on his way. If somebody doesn't show you like the same interest that you're showing in them, whether it's for a friendship or a relationship, baby, let them stay right where they are. We all have been there where we have stayed longer than we needed to, or have just by default tried to prove that we are worthy and good enough to stick around for, or fight for, or work through, or get to know, or whatever. We all have been at that point, at that space at some point in our life. But after so long, baby, you're not at that space no more. Somebody don't want, if you have opened up your schedule, if you have taken out time to say, hey, let me know when you want to hang, blah blah blah, and that person does not take you up on that offer ever, baby, leave them right where they at. And if they continue to say, well, I be wanting to hang out with you, but no, put it back in their face. No, you don't. Because the times that, I've opened up my schedule to you, you're nowhere to be found, And if a person doesn't even talk to you, y'all don't have any conversation, y'all haven't built any like real relationship, like for real, how do you expect to get to know somebody, And some people are just not interested, and that is okay. But you have to make a decision within yourself. If they're not kind of reciprocating the energy that you're giving to them, then you may have to take a step back and be like, you know what? I don't really think they're in that space right now. Some people are just not in that space. And if they're not, leave them where they are, respectfully. You ain't gotta be no bad blood, and ain't gotta be no bad blood at all, no issues, no anger, none of that. You just leave them where they at. They're not talking to you anyway. they're not responding to your calls. They're not even pursuing you in conversation. So leave them where they at and let that be y'all's a relationship, associateship, whatever the ship it is. Let it be that. That way, you won't get your feelings or heart involved and expectations laid down. Just don't have any, especially with a person that literally shows no interest in hanging out with you and conversing with you on the phone, whether it's text, email, on the phone, voice text, whatever it may be, FaceTime, however it is. Because a lot of people, be trying to be against text messaging, but honestly, if you text right, and a lot of people have bad grammar and bad understanding comprehension skills. So that's why a lot of them can't communicate well through text. But texting is a way of communication as well. I'm not saying the whole relationship got to be on text, but I'm just saying, that's a way of communicating as well if you communicate well and you comprehend well. So don't waste your time, and don't waste nobody else's time either. If you're not interested in a person, be very clear, black and white, and let that be it and stand on that. And hey, if you are, show that interest. Show, you got to give and take. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying give it all of you, but you got to give and take, Anyway, I'm finna get back to work. I'm ready to go home. It's cold, but I thank God that I am, I have an employment, and I don't just have I call it my career job. This is my career job. I have a career. I have other part-times, but this is my career job, so I'm grateful. So, but I am cold, and I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to go home. This is an in-office day, so I'm in the office today. All right. Don't waste your time, and don't waste nobody else's time either. Be black and white. No gray areas. No gray areas. All right. Have a good day.